2.3 FM. My name is Esther Nwachukwu. On the political spotlight, we shed light, we flood light, we bring public attention center stage, accentuate most issues across our socio-political landscape. We try to analyze these issues, of course, with our analyst who will be helping us to give us in-depth and insight into some of these controversial topical issues. On the political spotlight, beyond drawing attention, beyond giving prominence, beyond putting on the center stage some of these political issues, of course, our phone lines are usually quite open for you to share your opinion, give your own experiences, give your own recommendation on the issues that are being discussed. And of course, aside from the agenda that has been set or the various topics that we looked into, these controversial issues, we also try to consider some conspiracy theories. While it takes deep minds, persons who are really into politics, who understands how political strategies work when some of these conspiracy theories are put out there. Of course, there is no how whenever we are discussing politics that conspiracy theories wouldn't be part of the conversation. But beyond talking about these issues, we don't try to just hit up the polity or evoke you. We also put out these issues so that those who are in the polity can listen and possibly apply the recommendations given on this platform, so we can have a better system of governance and Nigerians can actually enjoy the sense of democracy that, you know, we say that we operate or that we practice. Once again, welcome to the Political Spotlight. My name is Esther Nwachukwu. Good evening and thank you for joining us. This program streams on YouTube. That is, it's a virtual. We also stream virtually, so you can be part of the conversation anytime between now and of course 8:25 when we're discussing these issues. And of course, you can follow us on our social media handles. It's at VOP903 across all platforms on Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Obviously, Estiq Media on YouTube as well. That is, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Estiq Media. That's ESTIQ MEDIA. ESTIQ MEDIA. And of course, social media, that is on X, Instagram, and Facebook, Esther Nwachukwu. Those, of course, are my handles that we can talk about. First of all, let's start off with what Peter Obi said recently in reaction to the Kenyan protest and, of course, the fallout of that protest. The Labour Party presidential candidate of the 2023 presidential elections, Peter Obi, has advised Nigerians to learn from the recent Kenyan experience. Peter Obi said this while reacting to the recent rally against proposed tax hikes by Kenyan citizens. Now, this was made via his X account today, where he asserted that when the citizens of Kenya realized their leaders were not prioritizing their resources, they spoke out and demanded change. He lamented that Nigerian political leaders are more interested in using public funds to pay media thugs to insult and abuse those who speak truth to power. He challenged Nigerian leaders to refrain from such habits and start making sacrifices for the greater good of the suffering masses. Are we ever going to realize this? Are we going to have this kind of practice being infused in our political system where the priority of the people comes first beyond anything personal from any other individual? Is there any point in time within our political terrain that forms the fabric of our political practice that the interests of the people will come foremost, whether the National Assembly, the House of Reps, and even at the executive, also at the judiciary, where the interests of the people themselves will come first beyond any selfish interest, beyond any personal inclination? We're waiting for that kind of situation to evolve. It's quite important that we look at all of these issues. Now, let's also consider this particular issue in the political landscape that is also trending, whereby a former national vice chairman of the Northwest ruling All Progressives Congress, Salihu Lukman, has described former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the likes of former Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, as political orphans. I don't know why Salihu Lukman would say this. Ever since this man retraced his steps or decided not to be a member of the APC, he has been giving them woto back to back. Every day is one thing or the other. You wonder what made this man be part of that political party. Because of this fallout, he has been saying quite a lot against this party. Oh well, when you say it's not surprising, when you're no longer friends with some certain persons, you want to paint them in a certain light so you can gather more friends or be against that your friend that you're fighting with. However, Salisu Lukman has actually been very forward with his reservations concerning issues within the APC, and he has described ex-Kaduna Governor El-Rufai and former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria during the administration of Muhammadu Buhari as political orphans. He spoke of a proposed coalition among top political bigwigs in the country. He listed El-Rufai, Oshibajo, former Minister of Interior of Nigeria Ralph Aregbesola, former Governor of Ogun State Ibukula Amosu, and other governors and former Governor of Ekiti State as well, Kayode Fayemi, amongst other persons who are seeking to occupy the nation's top political seat via merger. Well, the strategy right now is ahead of 2027. One is even wondering if the Nigerian populace will be surviving before 2027, if you will still have Nigerians to govern before 2027. The chessboard now is about who will be the king, who will be the queen, playing their strategy ahead of 2027. While we're having an economic downturn, we're having security challenges, we're having inflation go on, we're also having investors no longer attracted to some of our public sectors or some of the private sectors or even some of our resources. We have a lot of pending issues that requires immediate attention from the executive. And what most of these political elites are considering is 2027. It's quite unfortunate anyways when we actually talk about this. And there's a lot actually to consider in this. Like Peter Obi actually said, the Kenyan protest is an immediate call, a clarion call for clarity within our Nigerian political landscape, which actually stipulates that with the current trend and the practice in this country, if Nigerians are not careful, we don't know where we'll be heading to in the next dispensation. So it's quite important for the administration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to open their eyes and respond to the immediate needs of Nigerians, especially those that voted him into office, and begin to address these challenges as soon as possible. We'll continue to speak on that on this platform as the conversation goes on. All right. So for Salihu Lukman, he's emphasizing that as long as the goals of Nigerian politicians are confined to winning elections and installing new elected officials, Nigerian democracy will be incapable of combating the phenomenon of state capture, which is currently at an advanced stage of infiltrating the federal government. I want to bring back us to what transpired in the UK. Now, I don't know if a couple of us followed how their elections went on. When the Tories, as the Conservatives, called for the election for about a month, maybe they were very certain that, their party was going to win. Now, some people who were not close or who were not within the vicinity or who will not be present at any polling unit had actually sent their votes ahead of time. Yes, that's how interesting it got. They had sent their votes ahead of time. Now, they sent it via post. Some sent it electronically. We didn't hear anybody opening the votes or opening their papers where they submitted via the ballot, via the post or via any electronic means that their elections or whoever it was they voted for had already been leaked. None of that happened. And on the very day of the election, there was no economic shutdown. All right, business was going on as usual. People went to work. Everything was normal. Life was just as you can think about it. So you just go to any polling unit, within a minute or two you're done with voting and you go. And in real time we're seeing how the results were coming out. This is an electoral system that Nigerians are supposedly practicing. I mean, that's the supposed electoral system that we're emulating, and you could see how it went. It was flawless. Nobody came out to say, I'm going to the court, I don't believe Kirk Starmer won, there was some rigging or whatever. None of that happened. You could see that it was transparent, it was clean. So at what point will our electoral system be like that? The introduction of beavers, the RF portal, was a means through which we can foresee or experience that transparency of our electoral results in real time. INEC really gave the certainty and the assurance that the RF portal will be the mainstay of deciding who actually wins our elections, where we get to see results real time. But of course, that did not happen. We're hugely disappointed, and no explanation was given as to why there was a glitch on the RF portal. Up till today, no apology was given to Nigerians, despite the humongous amount of money that was given to that institution to organize that election, whereby our votes were supposed to count, and the elections were meant to be safe. So it gives us a reason to ponder precisely, when will things change, and when will the kind of system of governance that Nigerians are expecting, when will it materialize? There's quite a lot to actually look into. Like I said, on the political spotlight, this is where we bring the center stage of issues on our political landscape. They're quite controversial. The idea is not to defame anybody or make anyone seem like they are not responsible. We're actually saying things the way they are, and it's not to make anybody offended. But the earlier the administration considers what to do as soon as possible, the better for a lot of Nigerians. Now, another thing to look at, I don't know if you remember the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadia Umar Farouk, Well, it's quite an interesting development that has taken place. You recall there was a certain time that the EFCC called her for questioning, right? I don't know if you can recall. Well, this is why she was called in for questioning. The amount of money that they said, especially the $800 million World Bank loan that was given to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal, well, they said they were going to give 5,000 naira to the unbanked, to the very vulnerable Nigerians. We didn't get to know who received that money. We don't know the persons that benefited from receiving that money. There was no accountability, no documentation, nothing at all transpired, nothing took place, and nobody responded, all right, to the questions, the salient questions that were asked at the time, asking Sadiya Umar Farouk where that money went, what the money was used for. The administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari did not tell us what they used the money for, and we did not get testimonials of any person who came out to say they actually benefited from that fund. Well, there is a situation on ground. The court has ordered Sadiya Umar Farouk to account for 729 billion naira payment to millions of poor Nigerians that they said they were going to give that money to. So let me read a bit of it out here so we understand the development. So the court had ordered the former minister to provide the list and details of the beneficiaries who received the payments, the number of states covered, and the payments per state. Now, a federal high court in Lagos ordered Ms. Sadiya Umar Farouk, former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disasters Management and Social Development, to account for the payment of 729 billion naira to 24.3 million poor Nigerians for 6 months. The court also ordered the former minister to provide the list and details of the beneficiaries who received the payments, the number of states covered, and the payments per state. Now, this judgment was delivered last month by Honorable Justice Dende Isaac Dikpeolu following a Freedom of Information suit brought by the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and they said they obtained the certified true copy of the judgment last Friday. Now, in his judgment, Justice Dikpeolu held that the former minister is compelled by the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act to give information to any person, including SERAP. Justice Dikpeolu also ordered the minister to provide SERAP with details of how the beneficiaries have been selected. I want you to understand the protocol involved here. The beneficiaries, who are they? How were they selected? What were the mechanisms for the payment to the beneficiaries? What words got from it? How did they go about the arrangement? What are the statistics provided? What statistics did they use in disbursing that fund? These are the details that Justice Dikpeolu is asking Sadiya Umar Farouk to provide to SERAP. Now, here is where it actually gets quite interesting. He also said that the minister did not give any reason for the refusal to disclose the details sought by SERAP, and SERAP has ruled out the relevant sections of the Freedom of Information Act 2011 that the minister contravened and has in line with sections 20 and 25. Also, Justice Dikpeolu dismissed the objections raised by the Minister's Counsel and upheld SERAP's arguments. Consequently, the court entered judgment in favor of SERAP against the minister. I also want you to know that the EFCC has actually invited this woman. At one point, if you remember, when the Betta Edu scandal was on, when we heard about the leaked memo and Betta Edu was being investigated, also Sadiya Umar Farouk was called for questioning. She declined. She acted like she did not hear or actually see the invitation by the EFCC. The EFCC official said they waited for Sadiya Umar Farouk for hours, for almost 18 hours. Yes, almost the whole day. Sadiya Umar Farouk did not provide herself. She did not send any information. She did not explain her absence. She literally did not come in for questioning. The EFCC had to speak out further by saying that she declined to come and that because she wasn't feeling fine. Now, it was quite surprising because we know how the EFCC go against people. They don't even come and invite you gently or send you a letter. They barrage your home. They come into your home in droves. They take you out by force just for questioning. But for this lady, she took her time. She did not respond to them. So it's not surprising that SERAP has actually asked for the Freedom of Information Act. They pulled it out and said she should give details of how that money was spent. Most infractions that were taking place during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, we're not hearing anything about it. And none of them are responding to the questions being asked. All these monies, the ways and means, the trillions of nairas used within that administration, where is the money? Nobody's asking about it. And they're asking President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to actually be fair in the justice he's trying to met out, especially as using the sample case of Godwin Emefiele. He was not the only person involved in that franchise. A lot of the public officials within the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari were involved in that embezzlement, financial obstruction, a lot of issues that transpired in the course of that time. So again, these are the issues that calls for questioning. Sadia Umar Farouk really needs to give accountability. That money is too much to be kept in the lead, to not be talked about. Where did the money go? And the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is still borrowing money. As of now, you know that the World Bank gave the president money for his socio-economic plan, which is the Renewed Hope Agenda portfolio, which is to realize the Renewed Hope Agenda portfolio. The World Bank just actually gave this administration some monies, and they will still borrow. All right. We also saw the Samoa agreement, which of course generated quite the conversation or the controversy in the week. So there's a lot to actually consider in that particular avenue. Like I said, I'll be speaking with Barrister Darlington very soon. He'll be my analyst in the program this evening, where I'll be asking him some questions on some of these issues, which is quite pertinent for us to discuss. Now, let's look at another party chieftain. Political party chieftain. His name is Nwanyanwu. He has a lot to say concerning the continued incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu. I want us to quickly take a listen to him, and that will be one aspect of our conversation we're going to talk about. He made quite some reasonable thoughts. You know, he shared some reasonable thoughts when he was addressing these issues. So let's take a listen to him, and of course the program will continue.
Of the activities of terrorists in this country. You are aware of persons who have been negotiating with terrorists without the brief of government, and they see these terrorists all the time. You are aware of those who found themselves in the same agitation Nnamdi Kanu was involved in. Today everybody is free, walking freely on the street. Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. The Igbo president, Chief Emmanuel Nwanyanwu, has called for him to be handed over to him. Sam Bazulike, before he passed on, he also called for the boy to be released to him. A lot of people have spoken during Buhari. But President Buhari, due to ancient hatred, decided to keep him and castrate him. Recently, the 5 governors came together for the first time after a long time to call for Nnamdi Kanu to be released. I don't know what he did that he should still be there when others are out of prison, out of detention. He merely agitated like others. They had to hijack him in Kenya and brought him here. But the truth still remains that ever since he has been in there, he has denounced all the insecurities, activities that were imported into the Southeast just to make that place uncomfortable. And little thing, it will be attacked to his IPOB. When the prison was attacked, they said it was IPOB. We came first to say no, because all the names involved in those activities at that time were not from that part of the country. So what happened? They had to start recruiting locals, urchins, people without education, without skill. They are now the one doing the operation for them. And then Nnamdi Kanu has said severally in court that look, that he has no hand even in this. On Mondays in the East, there's no activity. So we are calling for the president to release him. But if you don't want to release him, bring him to Ego Square. Let's use him for barbecue. Let his enemies come and eat from it so that we can close this chapter. There is no reason why Nnamdi Kanu should still be in prison or in detention. See, first of all, I will not respond to the first one in detail because of the source you are quoting. You see, there are people that will talk in this country, I don't waste my time talking about them. The basis is because Nnamdi Kanu is a freedom fighter. There are other freedom fighters in Nigeria who were involved in worse things, but are free today. Nnamdi Kanu was to be killed in his home. When he was on bail, he escaped. And that was the point the Supreme Court mentioned, that he did not join bail. Even his rendition is illegal and unconstitutional. So, if everybody that have been involved in the past are free on the streets, even Nigerians who meet terrorists on daily basis claiming to negotiate with them for some governments are free. And you don't term those people terrorists. Why are you calling Nnamdi Kanu terrorists? Has he met any terrorists? You see, Nigeria is a society that things don't go the same way. Different strokes for different people. Nnamdi Kanu's case, I have said it. It was that ancient hatred by Buhari against the people of the Igbos. I'm not saying it because I'm Igbo. If it had affected other tribes, I will say it. And I'm not ashamed of saying it. President Buhari had ancient hatred against the Igbos. And that was why he incarcerated him. Others were free. Now we have another president who can see things better than President Buhari. And that's why we are calling on him to look at the issue passionately. And there's no basis for him to be there. For how many years? 4 or 5 years? And the trial is not going on. And who in the Southeast has come to plead for him, even during President Buhari? He was just smiling it off. We don't bother about him. We knew his position. But we have a new president. That's why we're saying he should be released. And if you don't want to release him, I added, if you don't want to release him, let's use him as barbecue in Ego Square. Let his haters come and take a pinch of his meat so that we can close that chapter perpetually.
So that is Chief Nwanyanwu. You heard him right there describing the situation with Nnamdi Kanu. According to him, he referred to the previous administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari as the fact that he had this ancient hatred for Igbos, for Southeasterners, and that's why he never considered any other form to release Nnamdi Kanu, despite several Southeastern elders, former governors of the Southeast, meeting him at the time to plead for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. In fact, some of them also volunteered to accommodate him, whereby anytime he's needed at all, he would appear, but that the president refused. Well, which is quite surprising when Agwacha went to visit former President Muhammadu Buhari, and he said that he would lend his voice. All right, he said he would consider looking for how a political resolution can be instituted in the release of Nnamdi Kanu, when several attempts were made during his administration to consider Nnamdi Kanu's release, specifically through the Attorney General of the Federation, where you can actually deduct Section 174 and have that particular negotiation. Buhari never listened. Most of the time that they went to visit him about the case, he kept mum all through, and so Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration was actually continued, and it was obvious where his stance was. So when Agwacha went to visit former President Muhammadu Buhari, it begged the question of what was the reason. Why did you go? Didn't you see his body language? Didn't you read his body language when he was a president, when several pleas were actually done on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu for a political resolution to actually be sustained, to be considered? None of that. There was no action. There was no manifestation. There was no impulse. Literally, former President Muhammadu Buhari was very quiet in regards to Nnamdi Kanu's case. So that again is what made a lot of netizens react to Agbocha's visit to former President Muhammadu Buhari at his hometown, where he actually said one of the reasons why he came to visit the former president was to see how he could speak on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to consider he be released. Also, we do know that there have been several calls for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and it feels like the president is pressured to consider this. The conditional release, the question is, what kind of conditions will be set down? What are the rules of engagement? Will it be favorable? Because it's going to be quite surprising if there will be no restrictions on certain things. If Nnamdi Kanu would have a negotiation with the federal government, what would he agree to before, his release is considered? So these are the questions that are in the minds of a lot of Nigerians. Like I said, the political spotlight today, we're going to be speaking with Barrister Darlington to share his perception and give us some insight on some of these issues. And we're talking about how the elections in the UK went and how flawless it was. The electoral system that we emulate, unfortunately, is not the same thing in this part of the world. We also saw the Kenyan situation, the protest. We didn't see any form of marginalization. We didn't hear any tribal or ethnic sentiments in the cause of the protest. It was a common goal, and it made comparisons to how the NSAS protest went and how it was utilized and how some persons created some infractions and became a situation where a couple of people regretted to have been part of the cause. Properties of shops were invaded by certain hoodlums who took advantage of the protest that was initially a very quiet one. So again, these are the conversations that stirred up a lot of issues on X specifically, where a lot of Nigerians now started putting out a hashtag Tinubu must go, and they put up a protest saying the protest will take place from the 1st to the 10th of August 2024. They're speaking on the multidimensional poverty being experienced, the priority of this administration, which does not prioritize the people, more of infrastructure without considering the benefits of the people. Are the people not going to eat? Are the people not going to survive? Will the people feed on infrastructure? A lot of issues are what was brought up, and netizens are saying, okay, if Kenyans could get away with this, if they could actually poll and remind their president, William Ruto, that he was elected to serve the interests of the people, then of course this time around they need to remind the president that the people are actually hungry. Businesses are suffering based on the economic policies bedeviling the nation, and the fact that the administration is not considering the priority of the people that they're meant to govern. All right, these are the conversations. I'm going to be speaking with Barrister Darlington very soon. I'm trying to get across to him so that we can discuss, give more insight or depth to the conversation we're going to be having. Another interesting factor to consider is this, and that's considering Justice Ariwola. Well, we do know that the daughter, as well as Nyesom Wike's wife, well, they've been giving quite the promotion to the appeal court. I remember the time when their names were shortlisted, Nigerians reacted to that, a situation where the judicial system has been personalized, and they queried the reason why Justice Ariwola will swear in his daughter as well as Wike's wife in the High Court, which a lot of reactions birthed from. Is this the reason why Nyesom Wike continues to go on with the way he goes on, like he is above the law? Is this the reason why he makes some threats subtly via the press or in a very public gathering? Is this the reason why a lot of things are done by him and he gets away with it because right now his wife is now within the judiciary? And then which brings to the question a lot of things. So Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukaide Ariwola, will conduct a swearing-in ceremony for 12 new judges of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory on Wednesday, July 10, 2024. Now, the event will take place at the Supreme Court's main courtroom at 10 a.m. The development was revealed in a statement by the Director of Press and Information of the Supreme Court, Dr. Festus Akonde. Among the new judges is Ariwola's Oluwakemi Victoria, that's the CJN's daughter-in-law, who hails from Oyo State. The other judges to be sworn in I will talk about those judges from the various region, where the various region they represent. Ademuyiwa Olakunle Oyeyipo from Kwara State, Bamido Odunayo Olutobi from Lagos State, Ihabunike Godwin from Imo State, Odo Celestine Obinna from Enugu State, Hawan Lawal Gumi from Zamfara State, Sarah Benjamin Inesu Avo, Bayelsa State, Mariam Iya Yusuf from Kogi State, Nnamdi Basi from Plateau State, Leslie Nkesi Belema Wike, that is Wike's wife from River State, and Ibrahim Tanko Munirat Bauchi State, Abdurrahman Usman representing Taraba State. Now, the NJC recommended 86 judicial officers for appointment into federal and state courts across the country on May 17, 2024. The recommendations were made during the NJC's 105th plenary meeting, which was held between May 15 and 16, 2024. So what do you call this? Is it just by chance that these individuals who are very close to some very top political elites like the CJN, he has a strong affiliation with his daughter-in-law as well as Wike's wife, could their positions have given them the edge above their counterparts who may have been considered if they were not in the picture? That's the question. Will they have been considered if will others have been considered if these individuals were not in the picture? That's the conversation, and that's what generated quite the thoughts, in the minds of a lot of analysts and political stalwarts. And they're wondering, if our judicial system remains like this, how do we ensure transparency in the cause of justice, right? Well, who knows? They may professionally carry out their duties regardless of the affiliation they have with the CJN or the FCT minister. However, I have the telephone right now, Barrister Darlington. Barrister Darlington, good evening and thank you for joining us on the Political Spotlight. How are you?
I'm okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I am fine. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Political Spotlight, Barrister Darlington.
It's a pleasure.
Barrister Darlington, did you hear about the appointment, the elevation of the Chief Justice through the Chief Justice of his daughter-in-law and Nyesom Wike's wife? Now, what brought that particular list to the limelight is the peculiarity of two individuals there, that is the CJN's daughter-in-law and Nyesom Wike's wife. Do you think this will affect any form of judicial proceeding? Do you think this will affect any judicial stance that come from these individuals? The fact that, they're very prominent or they have prominent affiliations with top persons?
Yeah, going by the antecedent of this new judiciary in Nigeria.
Okay.
I see them as a new form of judiciary in Nigeria. This is not the judiciary of Kayode Shaw, Justice Okuta, Justice Teslemi Elias and Co. This was not their judiciary. So going by this particular judiciary that has sold themselves to the politicians, I don't have anything. I said anything in any of their judgments. Seriously. And I don't think any reasonable person should.
Okay.
Because they are sold out, clearly sold out to the politicians. Even Arewala himself, he had to tell us that the politicians are threatening and intimidating them. That are pressurizing them. Imagine they won't see them saying this. Are you supposed to come out with this? Why don't you expose them? Why don't you say the truth? Apart from that, Ben can equally said that they have called the president of the Big Court. He said that because of the pressure of politicians, she now said that all their big cases should go to Lagos and Abuja.
Okay.
And that is our own panacea for the infamy, for the wrath. Instead of you to call out these politicians or even step aside, when will the judiciary go on strike because of the harassment of these politicians to make a statement? To make a statement, we know that yes, but rather they are in bed with them. They are in bed with them. So after all that infamy, they will come back and be talking. Whom are you talking to? I didn't want to say it because he's going out. All the while he was there, what did he do? Did he defeat the judiciary? Did he deepen the justice system?
Barrister Darlington.
Can you tell me one Atlantic thing that this man did in office? Except for the appointing his family members to higher positions in the judiciary.
Still within the Nigerian Judicial... Barrister Darlington, still within the Nigerian Judicial Council. Do you know that the Attorney General of the Federation, Fagbemi, actually said that the Nigerian judiciary is no longer the last hope of the poor, but the rich? Do you find it weird coming from the Attorney General of the Federation? He made a statement during the groundbreaking. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, my dear.
He made a statement during the groundbreaking of the 37 billion naira construction of the Abuja division of the Appeal Court complex at Dakibiu by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. And a lot of Nigerians were surprised when he actually made a statement. He said he expressed his worries over the current state of the Nigerian judicial sector. This is the Attorney General of the Federation saying this. And he made that statement at that groundbreaking ceremony. He said that the judiciary was now for politicians and other influential people in the country. And it's quite worrisome because despite his submission about the judiciary, he expressed hope, all right, that the complex will be the fourth exposure and protection of people's rights. If the Attorney General of the Federation has expressed his doubts about the Nigerian judiciary, where does that put us?
My dear, it means that you and I are in trouble. We are in a serious trouble. So anybody who is doubt what is going on there, when they listen to what this Attorney General said and what the CGN said during his valedictory speech, you will not know where we are going. I'm telling you, it is a very serious issue. Very, very serious issue.
Barrister Darlington, I want to quote exactly what he said. Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General of the Federation, said, "Gone were those days when the judiciary was regarded as the last hope of the common man. I take objection to it. It is the big people now who patronize the judiciary, not even the common man. If you have any doubt, hear this, Barrister Darlington. If you have any doubt, the election is approaching. Come and see the way. With all due respect, some people behave like a rain-beaten chickens. Forgive me, I don't mean to be rude. So the judiciary is no longer the last hope of the common man alone. It is also, or majorly now, the last hope of the big shots." Barrister Darlington, with this revelation, does that not bring a big question to how the 2023 general elections went? Because if the Attorney General of the Federation could have made this expression, where do you think this expression is coming from?
He has just said something that everybody is aware of, but what is he doing about it?
That's the thing.
Now, what is he doing about it, Esther? They are good at making statements. So that I will not say, yeah, this man is a good man. But with your position, what are you supposed to be doing? Are you not supposed to be sanctioning those losses? Are you not supposed to bring out reforms to checkmate all these infractions in our judiciary? As the Attorney General, you have the power to do all these things. But you are making statements. So you know how this is that you are keeping quiet. Statement cannot solve the problem. It is not that solves the problem. You. By the time they mess up the judiciary beyond it now, you will see the same people will not come around and be looking for somebody to blame for something they caused, for the problem they created. It's terrible. Even at the highest court, the Supreme Court, the info started there. So what else do you have? What other hope do you have, Esther? What other hope? Have you seen why people are not taking laws into their own hands? Because they don't trust the police, they don't trust the court, they don't trust the judiciary. Are we not creating anarchy here?
So are we saying right now?
That is what happens at the end of the day. That is what might be coming.
Barrister Darlington, it's a cause for alarm. It's not about raising doors. Reading this from the Attorney General of the Federation, where do you think his state of mind was?
Let me hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No. Rain is falling inside your phone.
Rain is not falling inside my phone. Can you hear me now, Barrister Darlington?
I can't hear you.
All right, I'm going to have to put you on speaker then. I said that if the Attorney General of the Federation can make this expression, where do you think his state of mind was when he was making this expression? It's a scary thing at this time for him to have admitted it. Nigerians acted like this with how the elections went. Post-election, we could see...
Let me hear you.
I've put you on speaker now, Barrister Darlington, so I don't know why you still cannot hear me. You're on speaker at this moment.
Let me hear you.
Barrister Darlington, can you hear me now? I'm actually very close to the speaker of my phone.
Hello?
Okay, let me try to call you back. It seems the network is very poor, and that's why you can't hear me, because I have removed it from the court so that I can speak with you directly. While we're trying to establish connection with Barrister Darlington, like I said, this particular expression from the Attorney General of the Federation begs the question that at what point, or where was the psychological stance of the Attorney General of the Federation when he made that submission? For him to have said what he said, literally telling us that the Nigerian Judicial Council, the judiciary sector, the judicial sector is highly compromised, and that it is only the elite of the elite are the ones who benefit from whatever convictions come from the court, meaning that the judiciary has become a death trap for the common man. That's literally what he said, coming from his expression. The judiciary has become the death trap of the common man. So if you are just an average Nigerian, you do not have that political connection, you don't have any top shot who can help you get a top shot lawyer or have a connection to a top shot judge, it means that if you have any issue, you're literally going to wither away because you have nobody to call who can save you. It means that with the facts on ground, it doesn't mean you're going to have or get any fair judgment. Because for the Attorney General of the Federation to say this is the person whom has been directed by the court to have a negotiation with Nnamdi Kanu. And if he has made this utterance, if he has made this statement, that brings to the question a serious scrutiny within the Nigerian judicial sector. So who is going to scrutinize the judiciary? Whereby we're going to have cases coming from a fair point of view, objectively. You saw the case of Sadia Umar Farouk. If not through Serap. Apparently, she had been asked to provide details of that, and she had not done that. She didn't obey the court order. So, Serap had to write again to the court, reminding Sadia Umar Farouk to present the details of that money that was spent during her administration, where they said they were going to give the very vulnerable banked Nigerians 5,000 naira each. And obviously, even with this court order, it's possible that Sadia Umar Farouk will not pay any attention. She will just keep mute, like she wasn't aware or she doesn't know anything, and nothing will happen. The EFCC wouldn't go to her home and ask her to submit the details after the first time she was called in for questioning. That is a disparity that is being talked about. That's a disparity right here that Mr. Lateef Fagbemi is talking about. Barrister Darlington, can you hear me now? All right, so my question is, where does that put the common man if Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General of the Federation, has made this statement? Does it mean that any case of the common man that gets to the court is a death trap if he doesn't have any connection to any top shot?
Esther, in fact, it's really very obvious that this Attorney General is being teleguided. And he himself is not even from this position. They are telling him what to do, and that was why he got this experience, because the last time I checked, I don't know how many court sessions he has attended. So from his office, he's been told what to do and what not to do. And that's why he brought this statement out. He's in a better position to know all these things. That was why he told you that he does not know Nnamdi Kanu. Because some people have told him not to recognize that case. And he told that line. So you can imagine. The man is not happy, but what can he do? He doesn't have principle. If not, himself would have resigned.
Why do you say, Barrister Darlington, what is the function and responsibility of the Attorney General of the Federation when you made this statement that what can he do? Is he not the Attorney General of the Federation to sanitize the system?
You talking about your line. There was a way we used to do it before.
I don't know why you can't hear me, Barrister Darlington. I can hear you clearly. You're actually on speaker at the moment. You're on speaker. I think it is a position where you're seated or something. Maybe you can shift from there, because I can hear you clearly.
Hey, it's you that I will not hear clearly.
That's what I'm saying now. If I can hear you clearly and you can't hear me clearly, maybe you can shift your position. Possibly where you are, the network there is not very strong. Is it possible for you to do that?
I am in the same place I would normally talk. I'm in my parlor upstairs.
Barrister Darlington, I can hear you clearly. You can continue what you were saying.
Okay.
So go ahead. You can continue. I can hear you clearly. You were saying something.
Good. Yes. What I'm saying is that this Attorney General, look, I don't like statements. I like action. Since you have seen all these things, what are you supposed to do? You can even tell your president who appointed that, look, Mr. President, if I'm not going to uphold the rule of law in this office, there's no need for me to be here. Let me go. To save myself the embarrassment. Because history will be told about you when you leave office. History will be told. All the flag Buhari is receiving today, is he happy about it? He cannot tell me he's a happy man. Because this presidency, which he passed through, has eroded all the integrity and all the respect he has. He cannot deny it. So there are certain positions you don't occupy. If you know you are not going to perform, leave the place. So keep your integrity intact because of tomorrow. You cannot leave office and people are talking about you in an unpalatable manner. And you are happy. You cannot be happy. No matter how you look, you cannot be happy. Even your own family people, they will be talking about you in a very embarrassing way. So is that what you want? So the Attorney General is not, he has not even done anything that I can celebrate. He knows what to do. Let him do it. That's all.
Well, if you say he knows what to do and he is not doing it, do you think there are some strings pulled that are limiting him? Do you think he's actually in charge as the Attorney General of the Federation? Or somebody somewhere tells him what to do and he's just having a portfolio with no active functions where he can unilaterally make decisions and do what needs to be done?
My dear, for him to have made that statement and for the CGN to have equally made the statement he made, two of them, they are not acting on their own. From the statement they have made, they are not acting on their own. Even the one that has been called President Belton said, she's not acting on her own. That will tell you that somebody somewhere is delegating these people. In spite of the high office they occupy. So why are you there? The CJN is supposed to be the head of the judiciary. He's supposed to make sure that justice is done to all manner of persons, not like the blind lady. He don't need to come and tell us this story. Let us see it. Enter, let us see it. The same way it is done in US and UK. Let us see it clearly. And we are going to celebrate it. But the what we have, statement, with no action. So, you don't need anybody to tell you. And why is this so? Because they have sold out to the politicians. That's what happens when you have sold your rights. You can no longer have it. I'm telling you. You know, if this type of thing is going on at the highest level, you can imagine what is going on at the customary and magistrate courts. You can imagine. That is so, in fact, it's a very bad development in our judiciary. Any lawyer who knows what's going on should be very, very embarrassed and ashamed. We never thought that this could descend to this low. We never thought. I'm telling you. More so, with an entity that came to with the mantra of change. Change. And take it up to now. From bad to worse. And even worse. My dear, it is terrible.
But Barrister Darlington, do you think this administration has a blind spot when it comes to prioritizing where it needs to prioritize? The Renewed Hope agenda by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressed quite a lot that was more people-oriented, but the realistic manifestation of that Renewed Hope agenda seems to be a complete contrast to what is at play. For example, there's more priority to infrastructure than the needs of the people. There's more priority to infrastructure than production. There's more priority to infrastructure than food. And these are issues because if the health of a nation is not considered as a priority, then definitely that will be the death of the productive sector of that nation. So who would enjoy these infrastructures if the persons or the people that the government governs are withering in poverty?
Esther, that is one thing the APC is doing so well. Among all the promises they made, the one that is so well, which they did not promise us, is borrowing money. Every other thing they told us, they are doing the contrary. They don't pay me to office, just to borrow money. Keep Nigeria into perpetual debt. Look at what Buhari left for Tinubu. It was about 87 trillion. Now the man has jumped to 121 in just 1 year. In just 1 year. And so I cannot see where that money is. That is even the problem. If they have been borrowing money and you are not seeing it, then we will not bother. It's okay, yeah, they are using the money to do things. Where is the money? Where is the infrastructure? Nothing. Thanks for nothing. Ordinary small rent that dropped in Lagos. Look at Lagos. Look at Lagos. So where somebody told us that is the father of modern Lagos. He's the one that built Lagos. Ordinary small rent. Look at what happened in the high-brow area. I was looking at the newspaper today. They said people that are living in Ikoyi and the ladies, they ran away from their mansion when the flood came calling.
Barrister Dante, about 21 local governments will be affected in Lagos by the flooding. More rains are expected, actually.
Yes, now, please, if they don't have where to stay, they should come here. I have enough room here. They should come. If they don't know what to do, this those who built Lagos. Can you imagine? So if people in that area are running out of the house, you can imagine people who are living in all these poor neighborhoods. You can imagine what is going on. And this is respect you. Billions and billions have been spent to. You don't know how to manage loss. You don't know. Else, they don't know in this age and time, in a city like Lagos, that the rain will drop like this, and the rich will not be running to their rooftop, to the rooftop of their house just to be safe. In Lagos. That's what I mean. Where this type of matters happen. Except where there is natural disaster.
Barrister Darlington, the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, shared his frustration over the level of corruption in this country. There's a reason why I'm talking about corruption, because corruption has bedeviled our democratic system. It has created a huge graveyard, literally a huge graveyard, into how the executive treats the people they govern. And it's really bad. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be abated anytime soon. For Lateef Fagbemi, the AG, Attorney General of the Federation, to make this submission, as well as Ola Olukoyede, it tells you that these are individuals that are within the system and they seem to be handcuffed to do the needful, but they can express themselves, so they've gotten so frustrated. Now, Olukoyede is sharing his frustration over the level of corruption in the country. He said anytime he checks case files, right, and sees the amount stolen, he wonders how the country still exists. He says if you see some case files on the EFCC's table that you will weep. And this statement was made on Tuesday. He's talking about the management team of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. And this is what he said. When I look at some case files and I see the humongous amount of money stolen, I wonder how again we are still surviving. If you see some of these files, you will not only weep. He said that the way they move unspent budget allocation to private accounts in commercial banks before midnight at the end of a budget cycle, you will wonder what kind of spirit drives us as Nigerians. Did you hear what he said? He said they move budget allocations from commercial banks before midnight at the end of a budget cycle. That's what he actually said. He also said public corruption ranks as the biggest cause of corruption in Nigeria. And he pointed out that if public corruption was taken out of the polity, the country would fare better than many countries of the world. Meanwhile, we are still borrowing. And look at the humongous amount of money is being siphoned and taken into people's personal accounts. So the question is, if the EFCC chairman could make this revelation, what next is this administration doing to sanitize the system?
Like his fellow travelers in the judiciary, he will not do anything. Except this statement is making now. He cannot go further than that. I'm telling you. If this man is serious, with what is going on with Yahya Bello, he should have resigned.
Exactly. That's the thought of a lot of Nigerians. He should have
resigned by now to make a statement. But you see they are making statements. What are you telling me? Was it not there when some CSS operators came to raid their office and collected some prominent files in that office? That was what in the first month of the Tinubu administration. That was what happened.
Was he appointed then? He was not appointed then now. He was not the EFCC chair in that 1 month, was he? No, he wasn't. Barrister Darlington, I said he wasn't the EFCC chair at the time when that happened.
Yeah, really? Oh, are you serious? When you are coming to office and discover what happened, is there not for you to resign? Whether you are the one that was there on a temporary basis, yes.
But when he came on board, maybe he felt he could reflect. Maybe he felt he could reflect.
Okay, since he came into office, what has he done? Mention one prominent case they are prosecuted. Is it not supposed to come for those files? After all, they are still there in the system. He just said he saw some files. Okay, the files he saw now, what is he doing about it? Yes, sir. He said he was not there when this thing will happen. Now that he sees some files, what is he doing about it?
Well, I think
the only person that is removed from prosecution in our constitution is the president, the vice, the governor, and the deputy governor. Apart from this, every other person can be prosecuted and investigated. What has this man done since he came in as the EFCC chairman?
my example is actually
that all the government officials, all of them are exempt, all of a sudden. None of them has exempt in the record, Abi. The files he saw there, all of them are there in government now. What is it about it? Look, I don't know what is going on in this country. See, there are things you don't even know where to start. The National Secretary of Data today, who was the first EFCC chairman, he listed 5 people that are mostly corrupt in 2006. He mentioned their names. Every corrupt people, the governors, all the Kanu, Tinubu, and 3 other people, which you know. What happened to them? As at that time, 2006 to 2006. Look at where they are today. The same people. My dear, we are not a nation yet. I'm telling you. No other country can tolerate this type of brigade in our economy, in our finances. No other country. Are you aware that today, the president is not synonymous with the CBN office? He is not attached to it. From what we are sitting in office with the message, you don't need anybody to tell you. The president's office is not attached to that of CBN, where they go and collect money at will without any appropriation. Violating the CBN. Is that not corruption on its own? They are running a government. My dear, it is a very big mess. Everything has collapsed. Everything that we should hold on to as a nation, things that should make you and I proud, these people have destroyed it. And they are still telling us that they are going to bring paradise in life. Which paradise? Which paradise? Do you celebrate paradise in hell? Look at where we are and somebody promising you paradise. For what? The same sweet tongue they use against the poor, they call the poor. They're uninformed. They'll come and make statements. Is it enough to make statements? Let us see what you are saying. Answer, let us see it for once so that this thing will stop. You tell me another thing, you go and do another thing. You told me you had a good subsidy, that we will be removing subsidy. There will be no problem financially. Some of us, everything will be okay, you not borrow money. What is going on with that and Esther? Why is that they are not asking questions? And then what you want me to be analyzing every day? Is it not annoying? Tell me that thing that these people have done that you're proud of today. That is what people have done in office. Not one simple thing. Except making promises. Saying I will do. Throwing money around as if it's for Christmas. At the end of the day, you don't see the money. Is it not the same money they threw around doing Buhari that the court is after that
yes, exactly, yes. That's the money.
Is it not the same money? Look at the amount of money. Esther, look at the amount of money.
It's
look
huge.
At people are so with that kind of money.
It's huge.
It has gone to people's pockets. That is not a tip of the iceberg. It has gone to people's pockets. And somebody is still telling me that we should be patient, we should cool down, we should wait.
729 billion naira, Barrister Darlington. Not million, no. 729 billion naira. That's what the court asked that she should make accountability for. All the processes, who were the persons selected, how did they get the money? Nothing. Barrister Darlington, nothing. It's alarming. And this is just one in several cases like this.
She was so arrogant not to answer EFCC.
Yes, when she was in, she didn't even come. She didn't even answer them. She didn't pay attention to them.
They won't even invite them. They will storm their house. And pick him up. Look at that. I've been asking them. the ones that who are collected up to 1 billion naira from any bank or anybody. Let them show me one of them who are collected up to that amount. But look at how much politicians are taking right, left, and center, and nobody is prosecuting them. And you are telling me that the youth should be watching them, Abi? They are learning very fast from them. Our youth are learning from the politicians, so they should not deceive themselves.
Barrister Darlington, there's an infusion of ethnic rivalry. If you go on X account, the conversation there is all about, oh, Omo Igbo, oh, Omo Yoruba. It's really appalling to see young persons get themselves involved in things like that. And one would have thought that there would have been a collective effort for questions to be posed to the administration on some promises that they had made during the campaign, and a lot of that they have under-delivered. That should have been the very basic question. But then again, the politicians have utilized the, disintegration within our ethnic system against the people. And that's why they're not focusing on what needs to be focused on. In as much as we're talking about these issues, I think when we call for accountability, it should be a collective effort and not an effort of the few. It wouldn't work like that. You saw what transpired in Kenya. People came together and they were ready for whatever it took to achieve what they wanted to achieve. You know that the EFCC's office was fortified on Friday. There was supposed to be a protest concerning how the EFCC carries on with its operations whenever they storm some areas. You know how they've stormed student hostels, apprehended them, and they don't just storm, they malhandle them before they're even prosecuted. And so they said there was going to be a protest in regards to that. The FCC claimed that protest online was organized by an ex-governor and 2 senators. But on that very day, no protest happened. Instead, we saw DSS and Rapid Response Squad and all of their machinery, that's a vehicle, all around the EFCC office at Ikoyi. But rather, we saw counter-protesters there. So does it mean that the Nigerian youth are really not ready for the change that they say they want? Or does it mean they're afraid? Or could what transpired at the NSAS protest be one of the things that is giving that restraint to whatever notion that they had as to the protest that was meant to have been organized on Friday?
Look, whether they like it or not, that protest will come when the time is due. I'm telling you, you cannot. Nature abhors a vacuum. Whenever this is continue like this, they will be taken by surprise. They just get the youth an idea on how to plan the protest proper. It's not enough to barricade everywhere and put armor tank. There are people who have done worse things, yet the protesters did not even bother. I'm telling you, they did not bother. They went ahead with the protest. What were they coming to? They want to tell the EFCC, don't do this. This is not what the law says you should do. Follow the same due process whenever you want to arrest anybody or invite anybody. There is no sacred cow under our laws. Is that not what they are coming to tell them? So why did they allow them? Are they coming with gun or cutlass or machete or whatever? They are coming to register their registration, which would have helped the EFCC to do their work properly. What is wrong there? It's not guilty conscience. It is just guilty conscience. It's not the whole Nigeria. I think it's a section of people around Lagos and all that. So why did it protest to go on? After all, they are the one who will tell you that the protest is allowed, but it must not be violent. Why are you not making it to be a violent issue? By bringing a motor tank, soldiers, police, and a gun, tear gas. Are we in a state of war? They are the ones who spoil this violence among the youth.
There's always an immediate restraint whenever there is a call for a protest. There is this immediate response, from our security agencies to forestall that protest from taking place. If there is a protest, is it an anomaly for a protest to take place? What exactly are some of our institutions afraid of whenever they hear there is going to be a protest? If you know you're doing something right, definitely you will not see that protest. But whenever they hear the protest is about to take place, you see the immediate response. They begin to guard themselves, fortify themselves ahead of that planned protest. So what is the fear about protest?
The fear is that it will expose them for who they are. They don't want their infamy to be exposed. That is all. I'm telling you. An agency or an institution that is doing the right thing, he will welcome them. He wants them to come. After all, they have a very large compound. They will ask them to come. Then the man will listen to them. Okay, we are taking note of your grievances. We are going to look into it. Don't worry, going on from now, you see some of the things being corrected. I mean, the youth will be very happy. At least I'm listening to them. But the PFC think that what they have done now, they are fighting the youth. No, they are sitting inside with anger. They are sitting inside with anger. If they don't like them to express themselves, then they are looking for trouble. That's the meaning. You cannot be a child and ask that child not to cry. I have told you here, Esther, the government we have today, they are even worse than the military regime. I'm telling you. It is only the military regime that you can see this kind of thing. Even some military regime says they tolerated a lot from the civilians. This particular administration, look at that. Because you are afraid of what happened in Kenya. Are you serious? Then do the right thing. Do the right thing. That is the only way. Good governance is the only antidote to protest and violence demonstration. That is the only antidote. Esther, you saw what happened in the UK recently in the election.
Yes.
My dear, did you hear any noise, dear?
No, I talked about it in the introduction of this program, the seamlessness of the elections. Everybody went about their activities. There was no economic shutdown. There was no public holiday. Like literally in less than a minute, you're done with your vote and then you go to whatever it is you're going or whatever it is you're doing.
How can you now rob somebody of his victory and you want that person to be happy? Look at what happened in UK. That was our colonial master, our colonial master.
Exactly.
Who we should be copying from. Yes, we have not learned anything. Both from America and the UK. We have not learned anything. Nothing. Nothing. Everything that they gave us that was supposed to move us forward. We have destroyed all of them.
Barrister Darlington, elections, 3 more states will be having elections very soon. INEC had actually added more recommendations how to ensure a transparent election. But a lot of Nigerians are reacting to that recommendation by saying that whatever it is INEC wants to do, they no longer trust it. In fact, they're saying under the jurisdiction of Mahmoud Yakub, they do not trust or believe that there will be any form of transparency. You know that the 2023 elections, the IREF portal was a particular addition to the Electoral Act that a lot of Nigerians backed. Now, when they saw that particular addition flop, which did not correspond with what the mandate was at the initial instance that it was added, then Nigerians stopped believing in whatever it was INEC was saying. Then the off-season elections came. It became worse than what we saw during the 2023 elections. So with the upcoming elections in 3 states and this 140-something recommendations that INEC said they were going to implement, how do we believe the transparency of the next elections in those states? And how do we know that it is the majority that would count in that election?
Esther, that election is already dead on arrival with the primaries. You can see what is going on with the primaries, which INEC supervised. So INEC supervised those primaries. So look at what is happening there. In a semi-crime, they should have asked this Yakubu Mohammed to go arrest. He has done enough damage to our electoral system. But look at them. He's still there. Esther, this man is still there. That means those we helped, and they are comfortable with what he did. This man with all the hoopla that generated that election, that preceded that, he should have been asked to even be prosecuted. Very glaring cases of corruption that this man brought into our electoral system. He should have been asked to go, but he stayed there. So tell me, and a snake is not being long. It's not possible. A leopard cannot change his course. It was only Tinubu who told us, this is a shining moment. Because the INEC declared him the winner. Is that what you call victory? Meanwhile, he knows what happened. It is only in this country and in this administration that I saw the 3 front runners collecting 12 states each. This will be 12 states. Atiku Abubakar won 12 states. Tinubu won 12 states. How? Making 36 states. How did that happen? That is the first time this type of mathematics will have happened in our electoral system. And nobody is querying what happened. This same man is proposing 142 proposals. The one that I do already answer, why can't he implement it? A bad workman always quarrel with his tools. Let him do this. They gave him an electoral law which is supposed to follow. Why did he not follow it? Let me follow the ones there first before thinking of amending anything. Eh? If you amend this one now, what is the guarantee that you are going to act on them? The one you are supposed to implement and act upon, did you do that? The answer is no.
Barrister Darlington, we need to take some phone calls at this time. Our program will soon be rounding off, so let's hear what a lot of Nigerians had to say and possibly share their experiences and give their recommendations. I'll keep you on the line so you can actually respond to some questions I'll be asked by some of the callers. All right, thank you so much, Barrister Darlington. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, 0700 903 903 903. The WhatsApp number is 0700, or rather the WhatsApp number is 081 717 56338, 081 717 56338. That's the WhatsApp number. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and location, sir?
Stanley from Hitop Estate, Double.
All right, Mr. Stanley, you have a minute. Please go ahead.
Okay. On the election,
Yes.
I think we are not really putting pressure enough on the government because without getting our election right, we are not, all the development and whatever, we are just messing up. Our election must be right for us to have any meaningful development.
Okay.
For example,
Hello? Okay.
for example, the anarchy man tenure supposed to end by next year.
Yes.
And we are not seeing advocacy concerning it because this next year is ending in 2 tenure, which I suppose he has to, another new one has to come. And we are not seeing any advocacy, either from the National Assembly or from the political parties, putting pressure on the government, making sure that whoever is coming must be somebody that people can trust. Now, nobody is talking about it. The next day, he will announce anybody, maybe his wife or his children or any other person, and we start fighting among ourselves. It is now we're supposed to put pressure and begin to throw up some candidates and begin to insist that this is somebody we want. These are the kind of people we want. These are the kind of things we want.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. All right. And the WhatsApp number is 08171753338. 08171756338. That's the WhatsApp number. All right. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello. Yes, good evening. Hello. All right. Hello. Can you hear me? All right. Kindly call back, okay? Please, when you call, just go ahead if you cannot hear what I am saying. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name, please? Hello. Good evening.
Yeah,
Welcome
good
to the
evening.
Political Spotlight. Please, what's your name? Hello. Okay. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name, please?
Hello, good evening, Esther.
Good evening. Name and location, please.
I'm Joshua. I'm calling you from Matego.
All right, Joshua, please, you have a minute. Go ahead.
Esther, I have just a question for us.
Okay,
Are
can
we
you speak
in a
louder?
Country or we are in animal kingdom? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I just said you should
Hello?
speak louder. I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me now?
Very well, clearly. Go ahead.
Hello?
All right, please, when you call, all right, I can hear you. There's a situation with the network, or maybe it's the cord, I don't know. But go ahead, we can hear you. 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Hello, Esther, good evening.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
Esther, good evening, good evening. I'm not happy, Esther. I'm not happy in this country called Nigeria. Barrister, good evening, sir.
He's listening to you.
Esther, I am not happy at all. Esther, under 1 year, your president has borrowed half of what Buhari borrowed for 8 good years. And I am expecting somebody from Surulere whose name is called Ms. Ola Mr. Ola from Sule, let him call and come and defend this government and tell that it is a lie. That Tinubu have not borrowed 1 naira. Because every time we talk about this government, Mr. Ola from Sule will call and the will call. Mr. Ola, I'm expecting him. And I'm challenging him. And I'm going to his house tomorrow. Let him come and defend this particular government now.
Well, in 2023 December, the President Tinubu borrowed in 2023, the 31st of December, President Tinubu borrowed 2.94 trillion naira from the CBN to service domestic debts in 6 months. Also, the Senate approved Tinubu's request to borrow $7.8 billion, which is about 100 million euros, the same 2023. So he has actually borrowed quite a lot of money.
You can imagine. Then again, Esther, please, let me land now. Let me calm my nerves now. Now, let me speak to you. Esther, 2023 election. Do you hear me?
I did hear you.
Good. Now, let me come to my normal dialect now. Because this matter is serious very well. Segu Abaje, who was walking around the whole television, all radio stations, telling people that INEC will do this, INEC has done not, INEC will do this. I want him to come again and explain like that what really happened during the election. Esther, he might fooling you, they nearly kill me. They nearly kill me. If you know they say I dey speak Yoruba, I dey hear Yoruba, and those whom they send as sons to come to my polling unit to guide the polling booth, they knew me. And when they came there, they asked, they want to know that. I said, yes, I need day here. They said, what part are you supporting? I said, I am party agent.
Hello? Well, this network has become quite poor. Sorry. You've actually taken more than a minute. You've actually taken 2 minutes. I sincerely do apologize. I have to take more calls. Hello? Okay. So we're trying to get calls on WhatsApp, but hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
How are you? Good evening. Hello? Oh, sorry. The cellular calls are obstructing the WhatsApp calls, especially for Nigerians in diaspora trying to call. I will let the technical team do something about it. Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
What's your name, please?
Hello?
What's your name? I can hear you. Go ahead, please. What's your name? 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Please, when you call, just go ahead and speak. Hello? Welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name? Hello? I'm sorry. Please send your messages on WhatsApp. Okay, just send messages. The calls interrupts the WhatsApp call. I don't know. Hello?
Can
yes,
you hear me?
I can hear you. Name and location,
Hi.
please.
What?
Your name and location, please.
Hi, the net.
Yes, the network. I don't know what's going on. I sincerely do apologize for a couple of you who are trying to call who reside outside Nigeria. You're calling the WhatsApp number. I sincerely do apologize. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Name and location, please.
My name is Sam. I'm calling from Gondo.
All right, Mr. Samuel, you have a minute. Please go ahead.
What I have to say is that concerning the president 1 year in office and what he has achieved, you know, to be honest with you, the system of Nigeria is very faulty.
Okay.
Very faulty. Most especially when the president have the power to appoint the INEC chairman, the EFCC chairman,
Exactly.
the DSS control general. Every head of department is very wrong. That kind of country cannot work. That kind of a country cannot work. Because when a president appoints a person, the person is expected to do the bidding of the president, unless you want to lose the job. And when a president appoints a person to be in office like the EFCC, the DSS, they are bound to do his bidding, going for those people that is against him, Going for those people that are not part of his calibers, going to people that are not part of his party. I don't expect anything to come out from the EFCC chairman or the DSS or any security agency, because they will be witch hunting people.
Wow.
You have to get this thing right.
All right, thank you. We need to take more calls. Okay, we've exceeded a minute. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Esther and Nwanyanwu. How are you?
I am fine. What's your name, please, and location?
I got you. This is Remy.
All right, Remy, go ahead.
Now.
All right.
Now, I'm going to be very quick. Look, listen. No nation can survive on corruption. Okay. I don't know if you follow the Ukrainian war and Russian attack against Ukraine. You know that President Zelensky has sacked several top military generals.
All right.
Even though some people will tell you, oh, you don't sack people during war. He sacked those military generals because they couldn't account for money and weapons. Okay?
Yes.
So what the point we are in Nigeria now, corruption is prevailing over every other thing. The EFCC chairman and other guys that are lamenting, they understand the problem. They know the thief, but they cannot chase the thief. You see, I was in Kenya last week when Kenyans were resisting their oppressor, okay? And Kenyans are intelligent people, and their government understands that you cannot play on the mind of these people. Even the youngest of them, you cannot play on their mind. So we are at the point in Nigeria that corruption is winning. Lastly, please, for Nigeria to be stable, Sunday Igboho is out of prison.
All right.
And Sunday Igboho, there's nothing Kanu did that Sunday Igboho did not do. Did not say, so to say. Why would you release Sunday Igboho and still decide to hold Kanu hostage?
All right.
Every people that love justice, that love God.
All right, Remy, we need to take another call, okay, please. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
I can hear you. Go ahead. Okay, unfortunately, some calls, you can't hear me when you call. I sincerely do apologize. It's a network situation. So let me read some WhatsApp messages. We're running out of time. Good evening, Esther. Nigerian government has nothing against MNK. That's Nnamdi Kanu. It's just that the hatred for the Igbos. But what I am sure of is they can't sentence him or kill him because they know the consequences. Okay. Good evening, Esther. All right. Okay. So this is quite long. This is a shining moment. I commend INEC because they rigged the election to your favor. If the system remains the same, the country will not make any good headway. I'm calling on all well and many Nigerians to unite together to remove Mahmoud Yakubu. Look at UK election. Is there any grab and run? I want to assure you that very soon the revolution will start from the north. If there is free and fair election in Nigeria, APC cannot win one local government. Let them release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Prince Ayotek. Thank you so much, Prince Ayotek. We need to take in more WhatsApp messages. Good evening, Esther. Anytime we're talking about electoral system in Nigeria, it makes me feel bad because those people powering the affairs in the election system are all fathers, yet they don't care about our children's future. Kennechuku from First Tech. Thank you so much, Kennechuku. All right, so this is quite long. This is very long. I'm so sorry. I can't read this. Try to make your messages as short as possible. Good evening, Esther and Barrister Darlington. Mr. Jude from Okota. Now Nigerians are keeping quiet. APC has started conspiring with judiciary against 2027. When it's late, everybody will start complaining. It's better everybody wakes up and start fighting. Thank you. And why are not Nigerians not forcing INEC chairman to quit? All right. Thank you, Mr. Jude. All right, Esther. Who doesn't know that most of these statements issued are highly political? If not, why would the Chief Justice and the likes remain in the same system they claim is compromised? And why would Farouk be worried when nothing was done to caution others like her? Too many pertinent questions left unanswered. This is Dima from Agudo. Good evening. All right, thank you so much. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Back.
All right. Please, you have a minute.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead. Just go ahead and talk. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so the thing is, I can hear you. I don't know what is going on. It seems that there's a situation with the cord or it's the network. Let me read some messages on YouTube. Iyeroba says, very soon Tinubu will run away from please, he won't run. He's going to govern us well. Ola Adewale says, can EFCC use Ammo Tank to search for Yahaya Bello and Betta Edu? Ola Adewale says, how about EFCC use a third Marine Commando to search for all the loots and steal? Grace Line TV says, Esther, the looting in Nigeria is about who can protect you. Buhari made Sadiya Farouk untouchable, so she can't expose him, but made Gordon Emefiele vulnerable to bear the reward of their sin. Kennedy Elekwachi says, please VOP, I will suggest that you guys should acquire more mobile phone numbers. Thank you very much. We're definitely working on that. Isiama Christopher says, the earlier the youth of Nigeria stand up against this good for nothing government of APC is better for them. All right, I'll take one more call so that Barrister Darlington can actually help us wrap up. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening,
yes. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. This is your friend, Zerena, calling from Spain.
Zaranadi, please, you have a minute. We've actually run out of time. Go ahead.
Okay, let me touch on this thing, few things for this thing. Just on Chief Nwanyanwu.
All right.
Comment on Buhari. It's very correct. Because Buhari started this thing right from time. Even though, look at, let me combine it with the EFCC. Look at this thing that when during election, during the primary of APC, people were campaigning, everybody was there. Then in Igbo, this thing, we are about 5 in number. Rogers called for consensus. They didn't have a meeting. That was the day they went and they went to Rogers. And they entered his house. Look at how they just treated the guy like a common criminal. Why the one that shared Nigerian money? Look at, they said they invite the lady. The lady didn't ignore this thing. They took, look at the way they treated it. Although the problem is from the South should come together and they forget about this and team up against this nonsense. Enough is enough.
Thank you very much. Okay.
On election,
thank you.
Please, let me just on borrowing. Let me add something on borrowing. On borrowing, I would advise the government to be wise. I know they spend a lot of money during the election. Every candidate bought a ticket with 1 million. This thing at the end of Tinubu settled them with billions for them to just step down for him. But it's not wise. It's not wise. Look at this. Within 1 month, within 1 year, he wants to just gather all the money he spent. Let him be very careful and step down. For people calling him to just 2017, they are not advising him well. They are not afraid to him. They should advise him to step down. Okay, my sister, have a good day.
Thank you. All right, I have Barrister Darlington on the telephone. Barrister Darlington, what do you have to say as a summary to what a lot of the callers have actually responded to the conversation we've had on the Spotlight?
Many people are beginning to understand what we have been saying.
Okay.
I want them to go take it to the next level. It's not enough to be talking. Let us begin to ask questions. Let us begin to demand for our rights. That is the only thing that will make me happy, because they don't know what some of us have lost, especially me. I know where my name has gone to here and there, everywhere, because I am principled. I want the right thing to be done so that my future and the future of my children will be guaranteed. But if those who are supposed to help us and encourage us are now standing and becoming lukewarm, it will discourage us. Let them help in this matter. It is people that build their nation. They demand for their rights. Let us remove tribal sentiment so that these people will know that we are no longer fools.
Yeah. Please.
Yes. If they have done the right thing, Nigeria will not be here where it is today. He wrote in Kenya, he wrote to have his ethnic group. He had people where he came from. They did not see people, but in fact, they were the people that protested more in Kenya. So what are you doing? Ask yourself a question. What are you doing? This is your tribal sentiment. Will it solve your problem? The answer is no. Let them wake up, please. We have compromised long ago. We have compromised long ago and joined them, and nothing will happen. But we said no. The people should come first. So encourage us by demanding for your rights.
All right, Barrister Darlington. Thank you so much. All right. I sincerely do appreciate your input on the political spotlight this evening. Thank you. All right. We've come to a round off on the political spotlight. Barrister Darlington has been quite insightful and, as usual, is very good at expressing himself. My name is Esther Machiku. Subscribe to Estiq Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQMEDIA. For some of you who called and we could not pick your calls, we sincerely do apologize, especially the WhatsApp calls. We sincerely do apologize for that. Trust me, there will be other avenues for you to give or lend your voice to the conversation being had on this platform. Do have yourself an amazing evening. Bye for now.